mysterious world of bees. Across the world, in the mountains, across open plains, deep within forests, along the edges of deserts.
And even in the middle of crowded cities, millions of tiny creatures work tirelessly every single day. Most people know them for only one thing: honey. But the truth is far more extraordinary.
Long before humans built cities, before the rise of kingdoms and empires, bees had already mastered the art of cooperation.
Each colony functions like a living superorganism. Thousands of individuals working together with incredible precision.
Without them, entire ecosystems would begin to collapse. Countless plants would disappear. A world where every day is a race against predators, weather, disease, and time itself.
Today, we will enter the secret world of bees.
The tiny creatures that feed the world. At first glance, a bee may seem small and insignificant.
Just another insect among millions. But appearances can be deceiving.
Because if bees were to disappear completely, human life could face a serious crisis. Bees do far more than produce. Every day, as they travel from flower to flower collecting nectar, they unknowingly perform a task that keeps entire ecosystems alive.
Many of the fruits we eat, the vegetables on our table, the nuts we harvest, and countless wild plants.
Without bees, many of these plants would struggle to survive. Harvests would decline. Food chains would be disrupted.
And among those pollinators, bees are the undisputed champions. Their work supports agriculture.
Most people never notice them. Yet every flowering field and every thriving ecosystem tells the same story.
For this reason, scientists consider bees to be among the most important creatures on our planet.
The story of bees is far greater than honey alone. Their history stretches back to a time long before humans.
Scientists studying ancient fossils have discovered that bees have existed on Earth for more than 100 million years. This means
for millions of years, they survived dramatic climate changes.
Yet their story did not begin as honeymakers. The ancestors of modern bees were very different creatures.
They resembled predatory wasps, hunters that fed on other insects.
At that time, flowering plants were only beginning to spread across the world. As these plants became more common,
a new opportunity appeared. Some ancient wasps gradually changed their diet. Instead of hunting prey, they began collecting pollen and nectar from flowers. Generation after generation, their bodies adapted to this new lifestyle. Specialized hairs evolved to carry pollen. Their behavior changed, and their relationship with flowering plants grew stronger. What began as a simple feeding strategy eventually transformed the natural world. The first true bees had arrived.
They would help shape Earth's ecosystems for the next 100 million years.
This transformation changed far more than bees. It changed the entire planet.
Because an extraordinary partnership had begun. Flowers provided nectar. Bees carried pollen. Over millions of years, this partnership became stronger. Forests expanded. Flowering plants spread across continents.
Yet the real number is astonishing. Scientists have identified more initialization than 20,000 species of bees around the world.
Some are only a few millimeters long, tiny enough to fit comfortably on a fingernail. Others can grow as large as a human thumb.
Some species live completely alone, building small nests and raising their young without help. Others
Every species has its own strategy for survival, its own habitat, its own role within nature.
Among the thousands of bee species on Earth, one stands above all others in fame: the honeybee.
Honeybees live in large and highly organized colonies. A single colony can contain tens of thousands of individuals.
At the center of this bustling society is the queen bee.
But contrary to popular belief, the queen does not rule the colony. She is not a monarch giving orders.
She is something far more important: a mother. Her primary role is reproduction.
During peak seasons, a healthy queen can produce up to 2,000 eggs in a single day, more offspring than many animals will produce in an entire lifetime.
While the queen focuses on laying eggs, the rest of the colony is maintained by worker bees. Almost all worker bees are female. From the moment they emerge, their lives become a constant cycle of labor. They clean the hive, care for developing larvae,
Produce honey, build and repair wax combs, guard the colony against intruders, and perform countless other tasks essential for survival.
There are no holidays, no days off. Every worker contributes to the success of the colony. Together, they create one of the most efficient societies in the natural world. Every day. They fly across fields, forests,
And flowering meadows. Sometimes traveling several kilometers in search of food.
they collect nectar, gather pollen,
and carry these precious resources back to the colony. Their work never truly ends. From sunrise to
Male bees, however, have a very different purpose. Known as drones, their primary mission is reproduction.
Their goal is to mate with a queen, and once that mission is accomplished, their role in the colony comes to an end. In the society of bees, every individual has a specific job. Every task matters.
nurse bees care for the young, guard bees defend the entrance, and the queen produces the next generation. Each member contributes to the colony in a different way.
Because the survival of thousands depends on the efforts of each individual. Together, they form one of the most
astonishing abilities of bees is the way they communicate.
Humans speak, birds sing, whales send sounds across vast oceans. But bees use a completely different language.
They dance. Yes, they dance.
When a worker bee discovers a new source of flowers, it gathers nectar and pollen, then returns to the hive.
Surrounded by thousands of other bees, it begins performing a series of precise movements, a living message written in motion.
Scientists call this remarkable behavior the waggle dance. Through this dance, other bees can learn the exact direction of the food source.
At first glance, the movements may appear random, but every turn has meaning. Every vibration carries information. Without words, without maps, without technology, an entire colony shares vital information through movement alone. The message spreads rapidly through the hive. Soon dozens of workers leave the colony, flying directly toward the newly discovered flowers.
One of the first things that comes to mind when we think of bees is their stingers. But is it really true that a bee dies after losing its stinger? The answer is both yes and no. Honeybees usually die after stinging a human. Why? Because their stingers have backward-facing barbs. When the stinger becomes lodged in human skin, it can be torn away from the bee's body, and along with the stinger, some of the bee's internal organs are damaged as well. As a result, the bee dies shortly afterward. However, this is not true for all bees. Wasps and many other bee species can sting again and again, and they continue to live. So the common belief that a bee always dies after stinging is not entirely true.
In the 1950s and 1960s, scientists were searching for ways to improve honey production.
Their goal was to create a bee that could thrive in tropical climates while producing large amounts of honey.
To achieve this, African honeybees were crossbred with European honeybees.
At first, the project appeared promising, but something unexpected happened. A number of colonies escaped containment.
Once released into the wild, they began spreading rapidly across the continent. These hybrid
And soon became one of the most talked about bee populations in the world.
What made them different was not their size, nor was it the potency of their venom.
A single sting from one of these bees is not dramatically more toxic than that of a typical honeybee. The real difference lies in their behavior.
Africanized honeybees are far more defensive. They react faster to perceived threats.
When danger approaches, hundreds or even thousands of bees can leave the hive to defend it. This aggressive defensive response captured public attention.
Newspapers and television programs soon gave them a dramatic nickname, killer bees. The name spread around the world.
Yet despite their reputation, these bees are not mindless killers. Like all honeybees,
With a determined gait, the bear crashes through the undergrowth. But the colony is alert. The guard bees signal the first spark of alarm.
driven by instinct, the massive bear pushes through the defenses. The bees swarm. The invisible heroes. For more than 100 million years, bees have lived on Earth.
They witnessed the age of dinosaurs come to an end. They survived changing climates.
As human civilizations rose and fell, as kingdoms expanded and disappeared, as empires were built and destroyed,
Bees continued their work, quietly, relentlessly, day after day.
Generation after generation, pollinating flowers, sustaining ecosystems,
And helping life flourish across the planet.
but today, these ancient survivors face some of their greatest challenges. Modern agriculture has introduced powerful pesticides,
natural habitats continue to disappear, and diseases and parasites threaten colonies on every continent.
Scientists are working to understand these threats. Because protecting bees is about far more than saving a single insect. Tiny creatures, carrying an enormous responsibility.
Often unseen, often overlooked, yet essential to life itself.